It's bTalk!
And we're back.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Truck Fit.
Truck Fit.
Bear 411.
Yeah, I'm sure they're
Growler.
our sponsor.
Growler.
They're our sponsor
Anal
through
beads.
rehab. Anal beads and Eros. That's
No, I
a certain somebody who
Mic
used
it
to
in.
live in this house's anal stimulator.
Whoa, girl. So
I'm
I
just
have a
saying.
serious topic.
Oh
actually.
shit! I thought
Not super serious.
I thought we just came off a serious.
So I've lived in the West Coast now for almost 3
the
years.
best coast. I mean, besides the Midwest.
And I've lived in the upper Northwest. Is that what they call it?
Pack.
The Pacific Northwest. Yes.
There you go.
I've
Or
lived
just
in.
call it the Northwest. That implies west and north, which is kind
Yeah,
of
but they
but
they call it Pacific Northwest.
But it's not.
Anyway,
He doesn't want it to be confused with Portlandia and putting birds on things.
Anyway, my point is
bird on
that
it.
I grew up in the Midwest, obviously, and I lived here for 10 years, and then I moved to the West Coast. So the concept of I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic, marijuana.
what is that?
So in the West Coast, it's like no big deal, right? Like in the Midwest, it's like shh. You know like 3 people who do it, but you never talk about it, and you might even look at them a little funny sometimes because they're like, "Are you high?" You know. But in the West Coast, it's totally different. It's like totally normal, and everyone has it, and people do it everywhere, and it's awesome, and it's.
And it's awesome.
It's like that.
I love being stoned every minute of every day.
No.
And
It's
now
not
we're
like
looking
that.
at Shannon like, you're so weird.
Are you high? No. So here's my question. So, sitting around in the house one day, we got high, as we do sometimes.
Allegedly.
And one of the things that came up was that, like, why more people don't smoke pot? Because
Because it
here's-
smells real bad.
No, because when you get high, like the worst thing that happens is you fall asleep, or you eat a bag of Doritos.
But if you have a cigarette in your hand, that could be lethal. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
yeah, but nobody who smokes.
Or if you're
joints.
driving a school bus full of children, that's dangerous.
No one would get high and drive a school bus full
Oh,
of children.
people would. Are you kidding?
My point is that
If
when
they're
you
going to
drink
get
alcohol, if you drink too much alcohol, there's lots of really bad things that can happen to you. You can
True.
black out. You can get alcohol
Yes.
poisoning.
Yes.
You drive your car and kill people.
Yes.
You pass out and people do things to you that
You can
are
forget that you ate
unmentionable.
something red for lunch.
That too. And alcohol usually comes back out after you've had way too much. And what my question is that do you think thank you, Kitty.
Coco
Do you-
wants to chime in on this.
Do you think that there is a push for the alcohol and tobacco industry to really keep marijuana illegal because of the fact that if it was legal and people took away all their stereotypes of what happens to someone who smokes pot, like I really believe that there would be a lot more people who would choose to have a little, take a bong hit instead of having like 3 beers or something. Like you feel way better after the next day.
Well, does it have something to do with the fact that pot can be grown in your basement, where it's easier to probably grow pot than it is to brew vodka, or you know what I mean? And maybe that's why it's illegal, because the government can't control it as well, or
But
or make
I think
money on it. That's what I mean to say.
I think that California is proving that wrong, though, because the legal, and not just California, Colorado also is legal, and the legal
hopefully
means by
Washington,
which
too.
they produce is heavily regulated, and the government makes a ton of money off of it. And
Yeah, they do.
And it's for, it's just like any other drug. It's for medicinal purposes only, but supposedly, allegedly, but the reality is that the government makes a ton of money off of it in those states. So I don't think that is quite accurate. If it were legal for recreational use, then people would grow it on their own. But I think the people who are going to grow it on their own are already growing it on their own.
Yeah, they're going to grow it on their own. I don't think your normal, like, it's going to be just like alcohol. Like, the people who really want to make their own beer or make their own alcohol, they're going to do it. And the people who really want to grow their...
The thing is that there's no... You're right. I agree with you. There is absolutely no reason why pot should be illegal. It's got to do something with the government. Like, they don't know how to make enough money on it. They don't know how to control. You know what I mean? It's not a matter, because I think it's far better for you than drinking, bong hit or like beer bongs and alcohol. But I don't know what that is. I don't know why.
You're a reasonable person who's liberal talking about this.
True.
And if you're a reasonable person who's conservative talking about this, who's using their education from the 1950s up through the 1980s, the Reagan era,
like a good conservative should.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you were drilled with say no to drugs. Drugs are bad, and I actually fall on the side of, I probably don't do it myself because I really don't like the smell of it, and it's gross to me.
The smell's gross?
I hate the smell of pot.
Oh.
And he just got skunk weed, that's why.
Yeah, you're just getting bad shit.
And don't bother trying to cover it up with patchouli, because patchouli is just disgusting.
But I think that, you're a reasonable person who's a liberal talking about this, and the people who are not reasonable liberals are looking at it from the opposite skew. I think that's why it's not legal. It's because people are so afraid of it because of...
They think it's like a gateway drug.
Exactly. And that's what they're told.
Ridiculous.
But that goes back to the education. That's all we heard in the 80s was like, don't do pot. It'll get you on cocaine and it just sends you on your way. When
someone who wants cocaine, they're going to find cocaine. Or if they want crack or whatever, like, those people are going to go after those drugs regardless of what...
the only reason, or one of the main reasons why I think it's considered a gateway drug is because it's illegal. So if people are willing to say,
maybe.
hey, I'm going to break the law to have a good time and smoke pot or eat pot or whatever, then they're more willing to say, hey, I broke the law to do that. I might as well try something else. So I don't know that it's necessarily like, if they legalize it, like, I don't know that a ton of people would be... They're doing something legal now instead of doing something illegal, which is kind of giving them a pass to be like, oh, well, I did that, so I would be willing to try something else. But
I wish I had statistics on like how much alcohol kills people.
This is bTalk. We can make that shit up.
We make it up, and we report it wrong, and we just spew our own opinions as facts.
Soledad O'Brien would have a field day with us and our facts.
4 out of every 16 people. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I think it's more like 6 out of 16, but it's beta.
So are we ready to switch topics here?
Oh, you're done already?
Before you guys move on, I just want to make sure that addiction being a very important thing, if you need help, blah, 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 go to turntohelp.com or inspirationsyouth.com or help guy or stopyouraddiction.com/drug rehab. This is basically just a Google search real quick.
What the fuck is happening?
Is there a pray the gay away under there? Because I'm sensing a conversion.
I'm trying to get everyone...
That's what I wanted to transition to, actually.
Wait. I'm trying to get everyone to accept being a pothead. This get help is bullshit. Fuck this get help.
Gimme. Because, we're all friends with Rob in Seattle, and he does addiction counseling. And he would probably, as someone who works with people who have problems, who have maybe had that as a gateway drug. Not that it would be the case for everybody.
What happened was he was giving...
That's the first misconception. It's not a gateway drug. The second misconception is that
You're such a Pac Northwester right now.
People who say they didn't get high the first time is usually they're too scared to inhale it.
Maybe you should go to San Francisco and just go to, I don't know,
I don't need to.
Dolores
I have Seattle.
Park and just hang out and eat brownies and
See, that's
watch
another
unicorns.
misconception.
What's a misconception
You
about
don't
that?
see unicorns when you're high.
Maybe you're doing it
What
wrong.
kind of drugs are you doing?
Maybe you're doing it wrong. I saw unicorns all over.
Maybe you're
Dolores
doing the
Park.
wrong drugs.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Those are
anyway.
mushrooms.
So here's what I wanted to bring to the table.
Jason's
is
over this.
Anderson Cooper. Whoa.
What?
Anderson
big homo?
Cooper.
My attention.
What is up? What do you guys think about him coming out finally?
I
Is
was
it a
like,
big deal? Is it not a
No,
big
it's
deal?
not a big deal at all. Who cares?
Tell me why.
Everyone knew he was gay.
Who didn't?
I knew he was gay, and I never even watched his show.
Right, but who didn't know he was gay?
Blind people, people who can't hear, people who don't know him, people who have never seen him on television. I don't know.
I think the big deal is it being confirmed. That's the big deal.
Is that really a big deal, though?
From my personal experience, confirmation means a lot.
But
Don't you think
isn't it
the
fine
higher
that he-
the? Don't you think he's one of the highest profile people that goes into the most homes on a regular basis, i.e., not like a thief, i.e., via the TV? But I mean, a lot of people probably trust him as a news source, and don't you think that's a big deal? Like, he is bringing it to more suburban housewives, to more people who maybe will be changed and on our side when the big vote happens, which I'd also like to talk about.
I honestly think that less people are worried about gay people than we really think. I mean, there's
Young
three gays.
people
There's
are
three
less
gays.
worried.
There's 3 gays in my family. Like everyone, I have a huge family. Like you
Is that
get
going to
more
stop them?
exposed to it.
But is that going to stop them from voting Republican, or are they going to stick with the Republican vote based on abortion?
They're voting on abortion. They're not voting on whether he believes in gay rights or not.
So if
They're
right,
one-issue
so-
voters.
right? So if you brought it down to a vote like is going to be in Minnesota this year, which is the marriage amendment vote, do you think they'd vote with the side of the gays, which has nothing to do with abortion, or do you think they'd vote against?
My family, they're one-issue voters. They don't
Right,
care.
but
they're just going to
what I'm
vote
saying is-
Republican. That's all they're going to
Okay,
vote.
so what I'm saying is you're saying they're one issue voters based on Democrat Republican or based on abortion, pro-life, pro-choice?
Pro-life, pro-choice.
Okay, so this is not a pro-life, pro-choice thing at all. This is
I
can
think that
gays
if they
marry
did-
or can gays
well,
not
if my
marry?
family did live in Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the majority of them would say they could get married.
That gays can get married?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think half of them would say
Interesting.
no. But I
Okay.
think the other half would be like, yeah,
and
sure,
your
why not?
family's huge, so I mean
Yeah.
that would bump
That's like
us
25
right up.
people
right,
would say
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, like half of them would say no, but the majority would say yes.
Did I say that? Half of them would say yes, and the other half would say no.
So,
But they're only saying no because they're even more religious than the other half. So it's just a religion thing. It's like because they believe, that this crazy book that was written years and years ago.
the one where Judas got hung by the
Gone
hair.
with the Wind.
Yes,
What is this book you speak of?
years and years. Just a few.
You have it on Black Audio. You know it.
Don't get racist, Kurt.
No, but I think that look at TV today. Is there one show on television that doesn't have a gay character? Can you think of one show?
The Price is Right.
But it's all. I think it all has to do with
One
like
show that
generation
people
for the
watch.
most part. Because look at Ellen DeGeneres when she first came out on her show.
Yeah, but that was years ago. That was like in the 90s,
I know,
right?
but there a huge thing was it being confirmed. I mean, I think people in the know knew that she was gay.
But wasn't that in the 90s? Look that up and see what year that was.
But I think there's a lot of people like
we'll say
from
the other year.
my hometown in that area.
Yeah.
They're naive about things and they don't think about things. Like how do all these girls think all these gay young teen heartthrobs are really going to be into them ever?
But they don't think about that. They just think a cute boy.
Well, but that's I think that's what Joel is saying. I think that there's a ton of people who will watch CNN and will look at. we'll look at Anderson Cooper. Jesus, you guys.
That was so fucking hard.
Shannon, didn't you take sign language classes? Like, for real.
That's not how you sign 7.
Okay. Anyway.
You don't sign with 2 hands for numbers. That's exactly what I did.
You guys are
I was
ridiculous.
Like, what? 5, 6, 7, 97.
So for you that don't know what was going on,
You're
Jeremy
holding
was,
up 5 fingers and 2 other fingers. What are you trying to
Jeremy
tell
was trying to
us?
give us a year, and Shannon and I couldn't read 7 off his fingers. We were like counting them. Oh my god!
We already established that I'm bad at math. That was established like 7 years ago, or 4.
That's this many apparently.
I think.
This many years.
Wait, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Yep. Anyway, in '97, Jeremy said when she came out on her show, that was '97. There weren't who was gay on television except for some crazy flamboyant,
Right, Liberace,
"Oh!"
who would have never come out. No. Was
So-
it? No, I don't think so.
But now, I mean, we have like I can't even think of any primetime show that doesn't have a gay character in it.
Sure. But
I mean, I'm sure there are some, but I can't think of one. I don't watch them all.
all I'm saying is I think that the more people who get exposed to it from trusted people, from people at the top, from people where it isn't, I don't know, where it isn't a big deal, like his coming out was super understated, I think. And I love it. I love that he came out.
The astronaut Sally Ride is what he's talking about.
Is she a lesbian?
Say that again.
Sally Ride.
Yeah.
She's a lesbian.
Well, she passed away.
Oh.
But the
I've
don't
been
you pay
watching The Real
attention-
Housewives of New Jersey.
Real
I don't have
life,
time for real
Shannon.
life. They even have gays on The Housewives of New Jersey, and those
Whoa, girl.
motherfuckers are
Yeah, they all do hair.
no. They're like roommates and stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay.
Well, just the Sally Ride had nobody knew she was. I mean, I'm sure that people knew, but the public didn't know until her obituary that she had passed, and it would mention that she was survived by her partner, a lady
friend who doesn't get any of her federal benefits. That I think is the.
That's another thing.
That's another thing.
Yeah, that's another thing. So speaking of that,
Yeah.
I was kind of political before I left. I did. I just watched her the other night. Speaking of power lesbian, primetime television, news anchor woman.
Yes.
Like no one cares she's a lesbian.
Yeah, but that's on like the most liberal network ever.
it's still she's out there, right?
True.
She's not hiding the fact that she's a lesbian. She doesn't talk about it. I mean, she just. Well, I mean, she's not. She doesn't do that typical conservative. You're not throwing it in my face kind of bullshit. That's what my mom always says. I don't mind. Well, she used to say years ago, I don't mind if they're gay. I just don't want to see it thrown in my face.
I know. Because
Why does my mom sound like Harvey Weinstein?
I was just gonna say.
And you're like, but mom, I like it thrown in my face.
I was just gonna say like a spider web or what was that?
go web go.
Go web go.
Go web go.
Yeah. No, I think I think with the. Oh, do you want
Go ahead.
to? Okay.
Wow, this is getting to be random.
I know.
Just
I'm gonna bring it all home.
bring
right
it-
here,
bring it
people.
home.
Well, I just want to interject real quick. No, I was going to say, you're doing this act, the Minnesota's trying to pass this marriage act, right?
Right.
For all equality. But
No,
what do
no.
you think?
Actually, there's a vote. The opposite. There's a vote to change the Constitution of Minnesota to
make it
limit
illegal?
to limit
Marriage between a man and woman?
just between a man and a
Oh, fucking Michelle Bachmann.
Well, right now it's a law. So men and women can't get married, but it's not an amendment. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it like concrete the idea of like you guys will never be able to get married.
So what do you think of the idea that I've heard this a lot in Washington about people aren't going, even if it becomes legal, because it's one of the things in Washington too, but if it becomes legal, they're not going to get married because they want to get married when the government says it's legal. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's all going to be a moot point because I think the Supreme Court eventually is going to have to hear a case and eventually is going to have to make a decision on it. And that's just my feeling.
Jeremy
I think
says nay.
I know Jeremy says nay, but I mean, there are already from California, like being able to marry and then not being able to marry, there are already court cases that are moving up through the ranks. It's just a matter of when it gets there and who's on the court as to how it will fall down, how it will be decided.
Is it 7? I think.
Well, I mean, but regardless, when it reaches them, they're not supposed to take public opinion into account, but obviously the U.S. in general is becoming more liberal. So I think at some point
on that issue.
Yeah, on that issue. So I think it's
What do you think the next big issue will be?
not Housewives of Anywhere. I'm just saying that.
Housewives of just somewhere. I don't know.
No, seriously, like there's always a generation that has like a really big issue, or maybe even multiple generations.
Pot, drugs, that'll be the next big thing.
Yes, I'm all for that. Not the drugs part, just the
pot part.
Well, and there was this whole Chick-fil-A debacle and whatnot, and I don't want to get into it because that shit has been talked to death. But to me, Jon Stewart said it the best when he said something to the effect like, "Don't worry, gays. You're gonna get marriage. It will happen." And everyone else is just going to get type 2 diabetes, So it's like, but really, if you think about like when I came out in '97 or thereabout, I don't even really know. But I mean, if you think about the timeline, right? What's happened in that time frame? It's probably double what had happened, preceding 1997. Everything is changing, and I'm so proud of Minnesota. Just and granted, I do live in the metro, so everyone's a little bit more liberal leaning and understanding. But what was cool is I was actually attending a gay wedding in Lutzen a couple weeks ago, and on the drive up, it's about 4 hours north,
northern Minnesota,
up towards the Great Lakes,
right on Lake Superior.
Yeah, and on the drive up there were road signs, the orange vote no signs along, and many of them along the road. And I thought that is fantastic because here we're in very rural, not metro areas, and people know what this is about. And and I'm real
and
proud.
Even though they don't have any teeth, they're still saying vote no.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think Obama coming out in favor, having his change of heart or whatever. I think everything's just, the tide's turning, and I would love for Minnesota to be the first state that defeated this terrible thing that keeps showing up on ballots around the country.
I think it's interesting because I was chatting with a young person, like in his early 20s, and it's just interesting to see the different generations and how they view the marriage. Because I think older generations who maybe were coming out when coming out was seen as a bad thing, like they're like, they're hungry for marriage. And then you've got the young generation who it's a real possibility for them. Whereas myself, like I was chatting with this younger guy and he's like, well, are you going to get married? And I'm like, I've never really thought about it because I never really thought it was going to be an option. So it wasn't like, oh, I really need to get married. So I'm kind of in that kind of ambiguous, I didn't come out when everything was really political, and I'm not really on board with the young where it's like, it's kind of just a fact of life for them.
Could you imagine? I mean, I know none of us did, but could you imagine coming out at 17?
No. I wish I would have had the balls to do it. I wish I would have had the like self-confidence and the lack of fear to do it. My balls are fine.
Well,
and they're fully descended. I'm not even lying. They're there.
I have 2 nephews, as I mentioned before, that are gay. One came out when he was 17. The other came out when they were 18. In the same town that I grew up in, that like when I was in school, there was a guy who people thought were gay, and they would like, and he was an older guy. He wasn't even in school anymore, but people were just relentless on him. And now they have these 2 kids who are totally out, and nobody. I mean, I know there are people that are still
care and that
are still upset by it, but those are just those crazy Christian people. And
They're all dying off. They're all
the crazy Christians.
Yeah, well, it's the older set, and they're all just going to be dead, and we will win.
We will win.
We are winning gayness, okay?
So I
But
think
I
the next
agree with you. I'm sorry. I agree that like between the 60s and then the 90s, and between the 90s and now, there's been like a huge leap for acceptance, and it's awesome. And
do you think that that's going to create a bigger backlash though? Just curious.
No, and I do worry about that. Like we're pushing for equality and we're pushing for all these rights, but I worry that if everything does happen the way we want it to, will there be hate crimes and a backlash as far as violence towards gays?
Mm-hmm. And
which I think is inevitable. It's terrible, but I think that's the reality.
Well, I don't know. I have 2 different Facebook accounts, and so I have 2 different Facebook accounts, and one of them is more my gay bear fabulous lifestyle, and the other one I just have with some high school friends and some family members and stuff, and I'm not out on that one. But I've noticed, like, I'll see all this stuff on my bear Facebook profile or whatever, basically all saying vote no, and on my straight account or whatever, they're not mentioning anything at all. Like, there's not a mention of, oh, we really need to vote yes. It's not even being mentioned. So, it's not part of their life. Yeah, I think that's kind of a good sign. But I mean, part of me is, but part of it is I'm afraid, because I think there's a lot of people who see all this publicity and then they don't realize that there's like this kind of sleeping base out there who will just, they're going to vote their conservative values.
Right.
Don't you think it's because they don't have a family member? I mean, they don't know of a family member who this directly affects.
I think it's really.
And I'm not saying that you need to come out to them, but I'm saying that if they did have a face to put it to, like a family member that's like, oh, this affects my family member, maybe I should. It doesn't mean they're going to think about, but maybe it's in their mind. Oh,
I completely agree. I feel like it's everyone's duty as everyone. Duty. I honestly think it's everyone's job who wants this bill to not pass. If you're a gay man and you haven't reached out in some way to people who would easily support you.
Yeah, and I did it. It was tough, and I kind of like didn't know how I was going to have that conversation with mom and dad, just because and really close to you. I know, and well, and the thing was I was worried about having the conversation just because I wanted to be articulate and I wanted to be able to be succinct and just make sure that I said the right things. It wasn't that I was worried about having the conversation, and so it's so funny. So I'm talking to them and I'm giving my spiel, blah 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 blah, and then at the end of it, my dad looks at me and he goes, "So how am I supposed to vote?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Oh, okay. No. Vote no." I was just like, he didn't, I was like, whatever I said was just, he was probably thinking of something else. He's just like, just tell me how I need to vote. And I was like, "No, Dad." Okay.
But that's my fear, is that people who aren't going to understand the issue or pay attention to the issue are going to vote with just whoever is the most recent person told them to vote this way. That's my fear with it.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the best things about the vote no sign is that when they go into the polls, they're going to be, because a lot of people, when you go into the poll, you don't know, like there's a lot of, all these people you're voting for that, the second district judge or whatever. And then you have all these other options for like public schools or whatever. They don't know what they're going to do. But when they go in there, if the actual wording is confusing, they're going to remember no.
Right. Well, and I had heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I had heard that in this case, it's worded differently than it's been worded on past ballots in other states.
Yes, it is.
And the wording goes in our favor. And anybody that chooses to not vote on it at all, it counts as a no.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah, and I don't, like I said, I don't have any confirmation on that, but someone had told me that, and I thought, well, that is great too,
because you have to vote a yes to have it record as being supportive of amending the Constitution.
Right. And then if they just leave it blank or vote no, then that's all in our column.
Oh,
so, which I think is
like that.
That's
Ooh,
good.
I like
if that
that.
be true. So
I hope so.
yeah,
It's true.
I know it's bTalk. I'm making shit up. That sounds good though. You like it? Sounds
I
real
like
good.
it. I hope it's true.
Anything that goes in our favor, I like.
Okay, so how are we doing on this one? Are we feeling good about?
Any more topics?
I have one.
Do you?
I do, and it can be really quick. But I wanted to bring attention to the Where the Bears Are web series,
Oh my God, I love it.
which is
It's
absolutely charming and
This
brilliant.
is not in my journals of pop culture yet.
Joel, you haven't
I'm
seen them?
saying.
Oh my God,
Oh my
What?
God, it's so cute.
it's
I like
adorable,
it.
and I love. Here's why I tune in. Well, I love the storyline. I think the actors are adorable and it's cute. But my favorite part is when the new episodes post. What is the excuse they're going to have to get the hot guy in the scene in his underwear? Like,
Yes,
it's amazing because
exactly.
someone always ends up naked or half naked, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense in the context of the storyline. There's a fucking death that went on. Yet somebody, some hot dude gets
is
naked
shirtless.
every
Right,
episode.
exactly.
And it's brilliant. Yes, I love it. I love it.
I think it's super.
This.
It's super cute, and in the first episode, the hot bartender Toddy, hot Toddy.
No spoilers.
I'm just saying, watch it over and over
Yeah,
again.
you
for
know
his
there's
chest.
a murder in the trailer, I believe.
Right,
So
it's in the trailer, but watch it over and over again for his hot little rocking
Well, and
body.
did you see the one that I think just posted today?
Is that number? No, I didn't see anything today.
Okay, there's a new one, and he's the co-worker of the gal, and I won't give anything more, but oh my God, he's gorgeous, like ridiculously gorgeous.
Oh, great! Now I know what's going to take up my evening, all evening on repeat.
Yeah. But it's where
Whose
the
radar does this guy show up on?
all of ours.
Okay.
Actually, I think. Oh yeah,
I
think,
love that. Really, is he gray? Because otherwise, Joel's out.
That's
he's
not
just
always
so-
the
Is
case.
he Hispanic?
Oh God.
'Cause if
Okay,
not-
Jason and I. That's why we're watching it. These guys are Jason and Jeremy and Kurt hot. Okay.
No,
But-
Jeremy's really Hispanic. He's really. Oh, come on, Jeremy. Jeremy, don't lie. Calves Hispanic. That's calves Hispanic.
Have you seen Hot Carl?
He can't handle Mexican food, but Mexican dudes come one, come
Muy
all.
caliente.
That would be the worst relationship ever. He could never have the food of his people.
Well, get this. So I met this guy the other day, and he was Mexican, and he was bitching about being too hot, and he hated spicy food. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's like what your people are known for. And you're like, it's so hot. It's so hot. Oh, I don't like spicy food.
How'd that date go?
Out the door. Whatever. No.
Right after he came, he left.
Right? I got a nice Go-Go Spider-Man web.
And you're like, can I have that other
Lates.
Doritos taco?
Yeah.
Oh, those are the best. The Dorito tacos.
The number
they're
11,
gonna have-
the Supreme.
They're
yeah.
going to have them in
No.
Cool Ranch, which
No.
Cool Ranch, I'm not lying, smell like burning bone.
No, you know why it's.
They
know why
do.
it's
They smell
awful?
like a bone saw. What the bone saw smells like when you're cutting through.
You know
wet
why they're
bone?
awful?
That it smells like burnt Cool Ranch Doritos.
I don't know what that smells like, but
Yeah,
you know
Jason
why they're
cuts
awful?
bones every night.
Okay, they're
I'm just
awful
saying.
because it gets soggy too quickly.
Who lets it get soggy? Eat it, girl.
Normal people
Eat
who
it.
don't eat it in one.
Eat it, girl.
One,
Eat it. Eat it, girl.
You're terrible.
Yeah, but you eat it with a fork
The
anyways.
Doritos are stale.
Girl, eat it. Open your mouth and swallow. I know you can do that. I've seen footage.
We'll stroke your throat. We'll be like,
Okay, we can. I just wanted to make sure I dropped the website. It's wherethebearsare.tv. Go back a couple minutes. That's when we talked about it. All right, bye. Now, Cool Ranch Doritos, smelling like a bone saw. Love it.
It's not real great, but they do.
I think.
They're really gonna make a Cool Ranch Dorito version.
Oh,
See, I'm a cheddar guy. I'm fine with that.
Doritos have MSG, so you shouldn't eat them. I'm just saying.
Disagree.
Now, and I don't know if I shared this with you guys like years and years ago, but in high school, in the musical, there was a guy who had the lead and he was supposed to kiss this girl. Every night or a couple nights, he would drink orange juice and eat Cool Ranch Doritos before he was supposed to kiss her. And he would like kiss her and then he'd like burp on stage and then he'd blow it in her face.
On
but
purpose?
You couldn't, yeah.
like her?
Well, they had a.
Or maybe it was the high school
adversarial
thing where he did
relationship.
like her.
Right.
But he'd
Like,
like
you punch
burp
the
and then
one
he'd
you
like
like?
blow it in her face, and the spotlight's on him, but the people in the audience don't know what's going on. But she's having to like inhale. Well, you can just imagine.
That's pretty.
Was
awesome.
this you or your brother?
No,
No, seriously.
Was it you, Joel?
God, that would be hilarious. Terrible, but hilarious.
I'm not gay enough to have a lead in the musical.
Guess again. Later this year, Cool Ranch Dorito tacos. Check out your
great.
Taco Bell. Or actually, better yet, go to Taco John's and have real good Mexican food.
There you go, fatties.
There's a whole lot of Mexican going on.
There
with
you go,
those
fatties.
tater
Later
tots.
this year.
That officially ends our fitness portion of the podcast.
Oh, speaking of food, dude, we are going on a food tour of Minneapolis. It is going to be awesome. We're going to, well, we already went to Fat Lorenzo's, which is my favorite Italian place. And then we're going to the Chatterbox tonight. And then we're going to go to the Blue Door, and we're going to go to Fat Nats and the previously named Tando, which is now Walk in the Park, Broadway Pizza. So if any of you ever come to Minneapolis, just
and want
look
some
up
saturated
Jason.
fat.
Look up Jason, and then, or didn't you post the food itinerary?
I put
on
the food
Facebook?
itinerary on Facebook, so anyone can refer to that.
Yes.
But there are a couple of omissions from what I would have. However, this is the Shannon and Jeremy Bland list.
Really?
Really?
What would you add? Taco John's,
Taco John's, Bulldog.
Bulldog,
I would also add probably Bar La Grassa.
and you would add punch.
Joel,
I don't
Bar
even
La
know what that doesn't sound like real words.
Oh, it's real,
What is
real
it?
good. It's Italian, and it is some of the best Italian I've ever had.
Kurt, have you been there?
The
That speaks volumes. It's
lobster
awful.
and soft egg bruschetta.
That's the thing I've heard. The
Delicious.
Bar La Grassa is amazing.
The other day, I went to the Butcher and the Boar. Has anyone been there yet? I had the lobster grilled cheese with a fried egg over it.
Ironically enough, no.
It
I have
was
not been there.
delicious. So there's a culinary tour de force here in Minneapolis.
Earlier,
there really is.
Earlier, Jason asked me if I wanted to have any sort of Asian food, and I said I fucking live in Seattle. There's like shit tons of Asian food. What? What happened?
They're talking about interesting stuff.
I'm just saying that Seattle Seattle has amazing Asian food.
Seattle?
And it does not even compare to any of this Panda Express Lee and Chin bullshit.
Oh, you're gonna go there.
Oh yeah, I want to see Seattle step up with Hmong and Somalian food. Take that.
We don't need to. So take that. We have Asian food.
I don't know who won that dispute there. I'm gonna say we're all losers. We're all losers in that fight.
We have dicks. What? We have dicks. I sound like I'm from there.
Maybe you should.
Seattle has dicks. It's
many comments. I need to bite my tongue.
Every night you're just splashing those in your face. I know, dicks.
Yeah,
You're like,
so
whoop whoop. I'm making.
She's throwing it down her throat like it's dick juice.
And Asian dicks on top of that.
So,
Shannon's favorite.
whoa. So one time I was
Wasabi mayo.
So this is a funny story.
Wasabi mayo
Gross.
in your face. That can be your that could be your band name.
Wasabi mayo in your face. So one time, when I first moved there, I think it was Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving I was there, and we went out to dinner, and it was me and Dean and JD and JD's daughter, and we drove by Dick's, and Dean, I'm riding in the front, right in the seat, and Dean goes, "Hey Shannon, have you had any dicks yet?" And if we're driving by the restaurant, and of course, this is not what he was talking about. And I was like, "Yeah, I've had them, and it's real good." And he goes, "I bet you love that dicks, don't you?" And the whole time I'm like, "There is a child in the back seat. Why are you doing this to me?" Anyway, Dick's is a hamburger chain in Seattle. It's really good.
Is it really good, or is it really just good after the bar?
It's good.
It's good after
It's
the
good.
bar. It's not like
it's good anytime.
Would you go there at 2:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah,
if you're
it's
craving a
always
burger.
busy. But the best thing about
I
Dick's,
happened to visit Seattle. I don't ever remember going to Dick's.
you get Dick's everywhere, Joel.
You did Dick's mainly in the back room of the CC Seattle place.
That was all raw meat, though.
Oh, it's a sashimi.
Maybe you need to get out the meat
not
thermometer.
sashimi. What
Maybe
is
you
it?
should have plugged the meat thermometer into
What
your
is it? What is raw meat when they dice it up and serve it like
Tartar.
tartar? Joel had some old man tartar.
Salt and pepper tartar. It's cured.
aged. Aged.
Poor Joel.
What? Oh,
Joel's
we're getting a
choking.
note from the producer. Are
Oh,
we wrapped
shit.
up?
We are
got-
done.
we got material here.
I didn't even get to my big joke. It doesn't matter.
My Jaden Smith quote.
Oh, whoa.
my
Jaden
God.
Smith.
Up like 2 hours.
I know. I gotta pull it down. Somebody say something inspirational.
Here. This is inspiration if I've ever heard it.
I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Is there going to be a hot dog in a hallway? Because
What did we say earlier?
What?
So I was telling Jason this horrible story that should never ever be repeated, and he goes, "Oh, was it like a hot dog down a hallway?" And I said, "No, it was more like a cocktail wiener in a stadium."
And I said, I'm not your Underground Railroad Harriet Tubman. I know it makes no sense in the context.
You're welcome.
It makes no sense in the context, but it was so good.
You're welcome.
Last night it was podcast gold. Tonight it's just flat.
Now it's just
No,
words.
it's
just
just
words.
It's a button mushroom in a
in a galaxy full of stars.
grown.
What were you gonna say? What was your
Jaden Smith, do it.
Who's Jaden Smith anyway?
Maybe it could be a bTalk light.
I think we're gonna just leave
We're
it.
just gonna leave it
keep
hanging.
people guessing.
How
Isn't
many
that
good
shitty?
quotes could
I lo-
Jaden Smith possibly
It's from a
have?
Justin Bieber song, which makes it even tastier.
it's going to be tomorrow on Google. That's
It's
going to be
Will-
the thing
it's Will
trending.
Smith's
Is
son.
Jaden Smith quotes. Everybody's going to be searching for Jaden Smith quotes.
right. Oh, let's get that up. Let's
That's
get our
assuming
numbers
that this podcast ever hits airwaves.
up. Right. How
That'll be a
will
couple
people
weeks
even
from
know
now
this
at best.
exists? Do we have a
don't-
website anymore?
We don't have a
or-
website anymore. Shannon let the lease run out. Shannon quit paying the rent.
We still have the site.
We're, like,
I
in
could put it up on
foreclosure.
the site, but I'm sure you have to just post it on your Facebook page.
You're a Facebook page.
You're a
fa-
Facebook
your
page.
face.
In
Like-
your Facebook page.
Just like you should post my CD on your Facebook page.
Oh, that's not happening.
Oh, I know. You did shit. I love that banner you made for me. It's awesome.
Maybe you
I
could
had
make a
people
banner
like
for
put
this.
that up on as their wall banner for like weeks. So yeah, you should run right out and buy my CD. It's called Universe, and there is a big mistake on it, and I'm not going to tell anybody.
And you should run out and buy my CD as well. It's called no, not at all.
It's P90X yoga.
Fuck P90X yoga. Fuck it. With something hard and sandpapery.
Oh, and if you want to change your life, you need to go on YouTube and look up Hunter and Jessica because they're brilliant.
They are really good.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're lonely one day, maybe you should also just look up Carly Rae Jepsen because she's still the apple of my eye.
Oh, she's so cute.
Hey, I just met you. And this is crazy.
Is it the Call Me Maybe?
Yes, it's the Call Me Maybe
I
song.
never heard of it until like last week.
Oh, girl, what rock have you been under?
I have a hard time buying that. No.
He's stoned all the time.
That and Joe Giudice from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's all I'm saying. Look it up. Just look it up.
Do you hear that?
Just look it
It's
up.
crickets.
Just look it up.
Way to end. Way to end without a bang.
Okay, we're just going to go ahead and end real quick here. But before we go too much further, I'd like everyone just to say one thing that can tide everybody over for the next 3 years until you do another one.
Thanks for listening. If you
way
are,
to bring it down. No,
Thanks
here's
for-
the deal. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll come back with another reunion show. Maybe
I'll come back in 3 years.
3 years or something. If Shannon ever will buy a ticket to come back, or maybe we should do it on tour. We'll think about
maybe
it.
we should set up one of those funds, where you like, I want to do this, give me money. We'll kickstart my flights back to Minneapolis
How about our flights to Aruba and do it from Aruba? Or
that's
someplace.
way more expensive.
We should have benefactors.
Those are called sugar daddies, and since the three of us are single, hey.
You guys are daddies, so I don't know if you're looking for sugar daddies. You should be looking for sugar cubs or something.
Splenda.
Splendid daddies.
My age, I need Splenda.
Splendid daddies.
I don't know. What do you want us to say?
Just give them a fun thing.
A nugget.
A nugget. Give them a nugget to hold you over.
An Easter egg.
I hope that people listen to this because we've taken 3 hours out of our day to do it.
Funny.
I have nothing.
You're going to edit all this shit out. Right.
Like 5 minutes.
Well, you go
Keep
first.
laughing for 5 minutes.
You go.
I'm going to rap is what I'm going to do. I'm
Oh,
going to
shit.
bring it.
Oh, shit.
Are you ready for this?
We're ready.
Wiki.
Which one? I presented 2 of them earlier. Can I get a beat?
I think
The Paula Abdul one? Okay. Nothing in common. Distrust. I'm like a minus, she's like a plus. One going up, one coming down. But we seem to land on common ground. Things go wrong, we make corrections to keep things moving in the right direction. Try to fight it, but I'm telling you, Jack, it's useless. Opposites attract.
Whoa.
Thank you.
You know what? We're
Thank
going to
you.
get to
There's MC Scat right there.
MC Scat Face. Sorry. So, yeah, we have lots of pop culture to talk about next time. There's all kinds of shit going down. So, Carly Rae Jepsen, she's going to blow that shit up. Mariah Carey on American Idol is going to be terrible.
And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff is going to happen in the next
No,
3 years.
that's the thing. Like, there's so much that's going down.
Yeah. We don't really have to come up with topic lists if we only do this every 3 years. I'm just saying.
So let's just
Let's what?
I think we've hit
Let's
our groove.
go.
I was going to just say, Anderson Cooper, eat a couple donuts and call me.
he is gray enough, but he's sure as hell not fat enough. But he will be. All right. Thanks for listening. This is Jason.
This is Joel.
Thanks. This is Kurt. I was like, fuck, who am
Thanks.
I?
Who
It's
am
the
I?
pills. It's the pills.
And this is Shannon, and thanks for listening.
That's it. Do 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 do. No. Oh. Usually
And our
groaning.
special in-studio guest, John.
Yeah, who's just real hungry for mac and cheese. Let's go.
He just wants to go eat. He's like, shut the fuck up. I want to eat.
So sometimes, after I watch So You Think You Can Dance, I think I can dance.